Hello, my friends. It's Miss Patty at Samuel's Public Library, and it's time for another story time. Now, my friend Bingo wants to say hi. And when Bingo heard that this week's theme for story time is all about pets, Bingo wanted to hear about that because he knows he is a puppy and a favorite pet. Maybe some of you have a puppy like Bingo, or maybe you have a kitty. So I'm going to read you a story about pets. So Bingo, listen up. This one is called Katie McGinty Wants a Pet by Jenna Harrington. And maybe you don't have a pet and you've thought about what pet you would get. Dr. Seuss has a story just like that too. What pet should I get? Let's find out what Katie McGinty is going to do. That's a lot of pets. Katie McGinty wanted a pet. She wanted a pet more than anything in the world. I bet you have felt like that before, wanting something so much. She wanted one more than Tommy Baker wanted to be a superhero. More than Molly Phillips wanted to be able to stand on her head. And more than Hannah Hobbs wished she had a sister. One of my kids prayed and prayed for a little person, and she got it. But Daddy told Katie she had to wait till she was a big girl. So Katie waited and measured herself every day. Do you think she's big enough yet? Katie was so excited she dragged Daddy down the street because Daddy finally said she was big enough. So she dragged Daddy down the street. Slow down, Katie, Daddy said, and tell me, what kind of pet do you want? You have to guess. Is it a hamster? Asked Daddy. No. How about a cat? He said. No. I know, Daddy cried. You want a dog like Grandma's. No. A chipmunk? A snake? A pig? No, no, no. What I would like more than anything in the world, laughed Katie, is what do you guess? What do you think? A zebra. Did you think a zebra was one of the options that Daddy was thinking of? Daddy shook his head in disbelief. I'm sorry, Katie, but you can't have a zebra as a pet. They live in Africa, where it's hot. It's much too cold here. That's okay, Daddy, said Katie. Grandma can knit him a nice warm sweater, and he can wear Mommy's slippers on his feet. But you just can't buy zebras in a pet shop, said Daddy. Besides, what would we feed him? We only have a small yard and there's not much grass for him to eat. Katie shook her head. Don't be silly, Daddy, she giggled. He'll eat pizza and fish sticks and spaghetti with us at the table, of course. And I suppose he would have to sleep in the garage, Daddy asked. Oh, don't be silly, Daddy. He's going to sleep in my room in the bunk bed with me, Katie said happily. In your bunk bed? Daddy scratched his head. And will he take a bath with you too? He asked. Katie laughed. Don't be silly, Daddy. The tub is much too small. I'll have to wash him in the swimming pool. Katie, we are almost at the pet shop, said Daddy. I know you really want a zebra, but I'm afraid you just can't have one. Don't worry, Daddy. I know I can't have one. There's a special offer, super sale, 1 day only for the pets. Says, buy one zebra, get one free. I can have two. The end. Well, that is an adventure to imagine. Can you think about what that would be like? Very funny. I think Katie has quite the imagination. So I was going to show you this week, some people, not me, think that snakes make fun pets. Just saying, not my choice, but they are kind of interesting. So if you take a paper plate and you want to do a craft, you just do a little circle design on your plate and cut round and round and round in a spiral. And there you have your little snake. And just glue little shapes and things to make your snake bouncy and fun. So I'm going to read this next story. And I wanted to tell you real quick that we also, if you're thinking about a pet to get like Katie, and you don't think a zebra is an option, then we have some cool books about how to take care of different pets like goldfish. And this one is about hamsters and gerbils and guinea pigs and rabbits, all kinds of little furry friends. We had bunnies for many years, and that was quite fun. So just thought I would give you that idea. So this is another interesting story about interesting pets. Bad Boris and the New Kitten by Susie Jenkins Pierce. Boris was a small elephant. He lived with Maisie, and he loved her very much. She loved him too, and they were very happy together until one day a little lost kitten wandered through the door. Oh, what a dear little thing, Maisie said. The kitten was small and bouncy. Just look, Boris, said Maisie. Isn't she clever? Boris didn't think so. But then Boris was big and he couldn't bounce at all. Maisie thought that everything the kitten did was just perfect. How Boris hated that kitten. Soon, Boris had a clever idea. What if he copied the kitten? Maisie would be bound to notice him then. So when the kitten jumped on Maisie's lap, so did Boris. When the kitten played a tune by running along the piano keys, so did Boris. Not sure that's going well. When the kitten dug a hole in the garden, so did Boris. And when the kitten jumped through the cat flap, Boris tried to squeeze himself after her. Maisie was very angry. "You silly elephant," she cried. "Whatever's gotten into you? You are far too big to go leaping around like that." Boris felt very sad. Nothing seemed fair. One night, the kitten was out in the garden chasing moths when suddenly a big, ferocious dog leaped out of the bushes. He does look kind of scary, doesn't he? He snarled and he growled and he chased the little kitten right out of the garden and up a tree. High up in the tree, the kitten looked down at the street and meowed sadly, but there was no sign of the little house or of Maisie or of Boris. When Boris got up the next morning, he was delighted to see that the little kitten was not on the doorstep waiting for her breakfast. Goody, he thought. Now everything will be exactly the same as before. But everything wasn't the same as it was before. When Maisie saw the kitten's uneaten breakfast, she began to cry. Where can she be? By the next morning, the kitten still hadn't returned. "Oh, Boris," said Maisie sadly, "what shall we do without our little kitten? You know how much I love both of you." Boris was astonished. He had no idea that Maisie still loved him. All at once, he didn't feel jealous anymore. He looked at the kitten's toys and felt very sad. Then he made up his mind he would find the kitten and bring her back home. He started out into the summer evening and he marched along the street right past the big dog's house. The dog ran out barking and snapping at his legs, but Boris trumpeted loudly and the big dog ran away. Have you ever heard an elephant trumpet loudly? It's something. Boris ran from the street to street, trumpeting loudly and calling out for the kitten, but she was nowhere to be found. Just as he was about to give up, his ear began to flap. He could hear a tiny, frightened meow right above him. There was the kitten, shivering at the top of a very tall tree. "We want you to come home," said Boris. Boris was too big to chase after balls of yarn or to run along piano keys, but he was just the right size for lifting a kitten down from a tree. Boris carried the tiny kitten all the way home. They were both so tired when they arrived that they curled up together on the sofa and fell fast asleep. "You found our kitten," cried Maisie when she saw them together. Isn't he clever? She said to the kitten. And after that, they all lived together happily until Maisie won a goldfish at the fair. The end. Those are fun pet stories. I wanted to remind you that we are still having our Tales from the Far North winter reading club with prizes each week for the stories you read. So I hope you can come in and claim your prizes. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day and take care. I don't know, we might be getting snow this week. I see the possibility. So take care. Bye-bye.